visual.
What if recording high-quality content, editing like a pro, and streaming like a star was as simple as hitting record? With Riverside, it's just that. Riverside makes the entire process easy, from recording to editing to streaming without having to jump from app to app. Everything you need is all in one place. Recording is simple. Hit record to capture your live session locally, maintaining the highest quality recording while also creating separate audio and video tracks for each participant. And when it comes to streaming, it's never looked this good. Stream in HD.
Gopijanaballabha Girivaradhari Gopijanaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Munatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari जय राधा माधव बिहारी गोपी जन बालावा गिरिवरधारी गोपी बालावा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजन रांजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रांजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बालावा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन बालावा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रांजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रांजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Haribo. Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaur, Haribo, Nitya Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaur, Haribo. Vishnu Pada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I hope you have a nice kirtan. The reason we do the kirtan so that our brain, our mind is purified from all that going on in the head whole day, right? Or whole night. So that's why we do kirtan, to just focus. That's our meditation, called active meditation. So you kind of, generally in meditation people become silent, but in our meditation we speak, we sing. So that's called active meditation. Alright, so welcome everyone for the Bhagavad Gita course. And today we are going to read from chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. We finished chapter 3 last week. Okay? So the people who don't have book right now, it's better that you have a book. That's best. But if you don't have, I'm sharing the screen. You can look at the screen and read with us. So we'll start now. Oh, you can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we'll start now. We are reading from this chapter 4. So all of you have the book, and you need the screen. Okay. Everyone, anybody doesn't have a book? Okay. So, just to give you a little recap from chapter 3. So chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, right? So chapter 3 we discussed a lot of things. We discussed over the month about chapter 3, and there were a lot of things we kind of touched on. I'm just pulling out a slide so that we can review chapter 3 before we go on to chapter 4. So let's do that. So this was our chapter 3, essentially in summary. Chapter 3, if you see, there was first section about renunciation of work, sloka 1 to 2, and then Niskam Karma Yoga. And so we had Niskam Karma Yoga, and then we have Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga, 3:10 to 16, and then from 17 to 35, it's all Niskam Karma Yoga to set a correct example. And after that, 36 to 43 sloka is more about lust, anger, and how the soul is covered, how you can uncover it. All that we have been discussing last week or before that. So this week we are switching now to chapter 4. And what is chapter 4? So chapter 4, if you see the title of chapter 4 is called Transcendental Knowledge, Divya Gyan, if in Hindi you say. So this chapter has total 42 sloka, and first, if you divide into sections, the whole chapter, the first section, sloka 1 to 10, is talking about transcendental knowledge about Krishna. And then from 11 to 15 is we will discuss about applying this knowledge in our life. And then 16 to 24, Krishna is explaining understanding karma on the platform of jnana. So generally when people understand karma, they get heavily into it. But how can we understand on the platform of jnana so that we don't get entangled in our karma? Now, after 25 to 33 sloka, sacrifice. So different kind of sacrifice, like yajnas, that will be discussed by Krishna. And then summary, he will conclude from 34 to 42. What is the conclusion? What should we do? So that's Krishna will provide conclusion in transcendental knowledge. So that's how the journey going to be for a few weeks going forward from here on. So I'm gonna stop sharing this one and we'll straight go into today's sloka. So this is sloka today. I'm going to read first one and then all of you can read after that. Every sloka we will discuss like that. Okay. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. You can repeat after me. Imam vivasvate yogam प्रोक्तावानहमव्ययम्. विवस्वानमनवे प्राह मनुरिक्ष्वाकुब्रवीत्. Okay, so anybody wants to read this? You can try. No harm. Okay. So we'll go to the translation of this sloka and the purport. What does Prabhupada say? So we'll read word by word. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality God, had said, Imam, this, Vivashwate, onto the Sun God, Yogam, the science of one's relationship to the Supreme, Proktavan, instructed, Aham, I, Avyayam, imperishable, Vivashwan, the Sun God's name, Manave, onto the Father of mankind, of the name Vyavastha, Praha, told, Manu, the father of mankind, Ikshwaku, unto the king Ikshwaku, Abbravi, said. Translation by and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to Sun God, Vivashwan, and Vivashwan instructed it to the Manu, the father of mankind, and the Manu is in turn instructed it to Ikshwaku, purport. Herein we find history of Bhagavad Gita, traced from remote time when it was delivered to the royal order of all planet, beginning from Sun planet. The king of all planet are specifically meant for protection of inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand the science of Bhagavad Gita in order to be able to rule the citizen and protect them from material bondage to lust. Human life is meant for cultivation of spiritual knowledge in eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the executive head of all states and planets are obliged to impart this lesson to the citizens by education, culture, and devotion. In other words, the executive head of all states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that the people may take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path, utilizing opportunity of human form of life. In this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivashwan, the king of sun, which is the origin of all planets within the solar system. In Brahma Samhita, it is said, Yakshas is Savitas Sakala Grahanam Raja Samast Suran Murti Asesa Teja Yasyajanya Brahmati Samrit Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Let me worship, Lord Brahma said. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and transverses its orbit in obedience to his order. The sun is the king of planets. The sun god at present of the name Vivashwan rules the sun planet, which is controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivashwan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is not therefore a speculative treatise for insignificant mundane scholar, but is a standard book of knowledge coming down from time immemorial. In Mahabharata, Santi Parv, we can trace out history of Gita as follows. Teta yugao chatato bibashwan maname dado manusha chaloka prate artham suktyaksha kavedado ichhakuna cha kathito vyapya lokanavastita. Quote, in the beginning of the millennium known as Treta Yuga, this science of relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivashwan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave gave it to his son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of earth planet and therefore forefather of Raghu dynasty, in which Lord Ramchandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in human society from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. At present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, which lasts 432,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapar Yuga, 800,000 years, and before that, there was Treta Yuga, 1,200,000 years. Thus, some 2,500,000 years ago, Manu spoke Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this planet. The age of current Manu is calculated to last some 305,300,000 years, of which 120,000, 400,000 years have passed. Accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. A rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago. And in human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. It was spoken by the Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. That is the rough estimate of history of Gita, according to Gita itself and according to the version of his speaker Lord Krishna. It was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriya, who are descendants of sun god or Surya Vamsha Kshatriya. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as Vedas, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is apushkraya, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, Gita therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane regular may speculate on Gita on their own way, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from disciplic succession. As it is described herein that the Lord spoke the sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. Hare Krishna. So there is a lot of information in this sloka, you see, right? So the people who are new to the Bhagavad Gita, there will be some of these things may be surprising for you and very hard to understand. So we'll try to make sense for us. Magyānatimirandhasya jnānāñjana salākaya caccharuparumilatamena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhutpadamiyam Dadati Swantamkam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Tau Kripatamam Bandai Sri Guru Dim Taranam Vancha Kalptaruvasya Chakrapasandavya Chavakriganam Pamne Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Vaishnava Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So this sloka is very powerful in terms of proof that people ask question, oh, Bhagavad Gita was created by someone recently, and you will see a lot of things in outside. But in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in this chapter, the first sloka you are reading, Krishna is telling himself when Bhagavad Gita came into existence. So he is saying, it mentioned, Imam vivashvate yogam prokta vahan aham abhyayam vivashvan manave praha munir ikshvaku abravit. That Krishna is saying, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to sun god Vivashwan, and Vivashwan instructed to Manu, and Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed to Ikshvaku. So let's understand a little bit. You can use whiteboard, I think. See. Okay. So we'll use whiteboard. So there is a sun planet, right? Sun planet, which is like, we get light, heat. And so this planet is made up of fire, right? And as per Vedic knowledge, every planet there are humans. Generally we are taught that only planet Earth has humans, but no. It is known that we are given information that Every planet has a ruler, has a citizen. It's just that their bodies are different than our bodies. Our body is made up of earth, air, water, ether, fire. Five elements, gross elements. You can see it. But on the sun planet, Prabhupada described, since it is a fiery planet, the body is also made up of fire. Earth planet is earthly planet, so this earth planet is made up of five elements. Therefore, our bodies are also made up of five elements. Why? So that we can live for the sake of compatibility. Like, if you, for example, in this body, the body we have, if you want to go to Everest, right, the cold planet, okay, volume is low. Now can you hear me, Prabhu? Can other people can hear me properly? Hare Krishna. Somebody is saying, okay, the volume is low, so I'm just okay. All right. So like suppose in this body, suppose you want to go to Everest or mountain in the cold place. Then we have to prepare our body, right? Like you have to do some kind of diet change, your exercise, you're kind of preparing, you have to accumulate your body to the cold weather so that when you go to the Everest you can survive, otherwise you die immediately, because your body, when you go to mountain, the oxygen level goes down, so the oxygen is not that available, so people die of suffocation or you die of cold because your body is not ready. Why? Because to live in the cold you need a different kind of body, correct? Like people who have born on the mountains in Himalaya, they can survive easily. For them there is no preparation because their body by birth is lived in the mountain, they have been living in Himalaya, they can survive. But someone like, from suppose from Mumbai want to go to mountain, Everest area, we will die like in next day because our body is not ready. Likewise, if we want to go to sun planet, we need fire body. Our body is five elements and it's not compatible, and therefore we cannot go to different planet, right? Whatever, even moon is so cold, it's very cold. So you may go on the surface of moon. It's like somebody may land on the surface of Everest and say, I reached the earth. But actually you never saw the earth people because the earth people don't live on the mountain. They are living in Mumbai or they are living in down there, right? So that's a different topic, that how people are trying to go to the moon, sun, Mars, whatever. But you need basically, even if you want to, suppose somebody wants to go to moon, then there is a whole training of preparing their body so that they can survive. There's a whole training program, they go for years to prepare the body which can survive in space, space explorations, moon exploration, right? That's a separate topic. But today, so Krishna first spoke the Bhagavad Gita to sun god. Sun god name is Bivashwan. Okay, somebody is typing with me. So sun god name is Bivashwan. And Bivashwan spoke to Manu. Manu is father of mankind. Okay, father of mankind. And Manu in turn spoke to Ikshaku. How can I scroll up? Okay, Ikshaku. Okay, Ikshaku was the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra, correct? The Ramachandra, Surya Vans, right? Ramachandra, right? So Lord Ramachandra was coming in the dynasty of Ikshaku, right? Now, if you understand this, Ikshaku Vans comes from Treta Yuga, right? Treta Yuga, right? So Treta Yuga is, that's where the first time Bhagavad Gita is spoken on this planet Earth, where we are, where we belongs to. So Treta Yuga. Now let's clear this and understand the timeline the Prabhupada explaining to us, when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So the Prabhupada is giving two references. One is that Brahma Samhita, that Krishna, under the power of Krishna, the sun planet is moving. And second, the Prabhupada is giving from Mahabharata, Santi Parva, that when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So let's understand this. So there is 4 yugas. First, who wants to say first yuga? Which is first yuga? Let's have interactive discussion. It will be nice. So, what is first yuga? No, Satyuga. 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 Okay, yeah. Second is Treta, right? Yes. What is next one? Yes, Dwapar. And fourth, Kali Yuga. So every age has these yugas have a fixed time. Okay? So Prabhupada explaining here, let's understand from Treta Yuga. Right? Treta Yuga is 1,200,000 years. Right? Now Dwapar Yuga is 800,000. Right? 800,000. Kali Yuga 432,000. This is the age, this is the time you divide. It's like when you say morning, you say, it's 4 to 10 or, 4 to 12, whatever. Likewise, in the cosmic space, in the cosmic affair, the time is divided in different ages, right? Like our age, we call young, so there is certain age. When you say adult, there is age. When you say now I'm getting old, so there is a age division. Though the time is same, but our body is aging, right? Likewise, the time is divided. Now, in this Treta Yuga, where king named Ichwaku, right? Ichwaku. And Ichwaku is coming in the line of Ramachandra, right? And age of current Manu, so this is each yuga. I'm not going in detail. So this is one yuga, this yuga cycle. So the four yugas are one cycle of yuga. Likewise, Manu lives for 72 yuga cycle. So you can imagine how many years Manu lives. So one Manu's life, you see, if you see Manu, this is 1 into 72, I think, if my memory is correct. Then that's a Manu's one Manu life. And the current Manu in our time, which is ruling, is called Vaivashwat Manu. Okay? Vaivashwat Manu. His age is how much? Do you read in the book? 305,300,000 years. That's their age. Can you imagine this? 305,000,003,000 years is their age. Our age is not even 60 years, That's their life. That long they live, So how much old Bhagavat? If somebody now in future, if somebody asks you, how old is Bhagavad Gita is, So this is Manu, and before Manu was Vivashwana. Vivashwana spoke to Manu. Manu's age is 305,300,000 years. That is the first time Bhagavad Gita is spoken to humans. That is Manu, first human being. Okay. And the sun is demigod, which is Krishna spoke to sun spoke to Manu, Vaivashwat Manu, which is the current Manu, and Vaivashwat spoke to Ichwaku, and the Ichwaku's age is how much? How much old is Ichwaku right now? It's about 2 million. If you add up, leave the Kali Yuga, if you add up the first two numbers, it is around 2 million years. 2 million years, right? So the Bhagavad Gita, current Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken on this Yuga cycle, is 2 million year old. Now, after Kali Yuga, before between when Dwapar Yuga got over, just beginning of Kali Yuga, Krishna spoke around. Right now we are in Kali Yuga. We are just 5,000 years into it. Very close. Not even 5,000, 200 something, 4,000 years. So that is the very recently Krishna again spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is very latest edition. Why? Because just 4,000 years. Sorry, 4,000 years. But the originally, in this age of Yuga cycle, 2 million year ago, the Bhagavad Gita was first spoken to Ichwaku by Manu. And if you take the age of Manu, the Bhagavad Gita for our current Manu, it was spoken 305 million years ago. So Bhagavad Gita is very old. But still, we are so fortunate to get this Bhagavad Gita in our hand to read, because if we want to trace out our ancestors' history, we won't find anything. Almost, if you go to 3 generations back, you don't find even names. What was their name? What did they do? But Bhagavad Gita is right now in our hand, and we are reading it, relishing this. Why? Because this is imperishable knowledge. That's why we go back to the sloka. If you see, Krishna is saying, stop the whiteboard. So Krishna is saying, you should when you read Bhagavad Gita, you should be reading words very carefully. Imperishable science of yoga. It is a science. It is the science of yoga. What kind of science? Science of yoga. Imperishable. And you can believe, nowadays if something can survive for 100 years, people say it's imperishable. It won't finish within your life. That's what you call? Lifetime warranty, like lifetime scheme, like you have lifetime, and their lifetime is like not even 100 years. If you go to terms and condition and read that lifetime, what did they say? The lifetime is like life of that instrument, or life of maybe 20 year, 30 year, right, plan. But here is Bhagavad Gita for you, and I already gave you all the information. So remember two things from here. Bhagavad Gita, current Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 year old. Krishna spoke what we are reading right now. It's very latest edition. Before that, Krishna spoke to Manu 305 million year ago. You can remember 300 million year ago. And Manu spoke to Ichwaku is about 120 million years ago. Ichwaku is the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra in Treta Yuga. And that's how it is coming down right now. But through Dwapar Yuga, it was getting lost, so Krishna revived it. And therefore, Krishna comes in every Yuga. Because you remember, it was spoken in Treta Yuga and then lost in end of Dwapar Yuga. So Krishna has to come again to give this information, right? So that's why it's very important to read Bhagavad Gita, especially if you cannot read anything, read Bhagavad Gita, right? Okay, so we'll go to the next sloka. Who wants to read next sloka? Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, please read. Okay, I can help you. So I'll say and then you can say. Evam parampara praptam Evam rajarsayo viduhu Sakalena mahata Yogo nashta param tapaha Okay, so you can read translation and purport, Mataji. Yes, yes, yes. So Mataji, Hetal Mataji is reading, so everyone can mute for now, and when your turn will come, you will read, okay, so that we can hear clearly. Okay, Mataji, Hetal Mataji, you can mute. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, this is sloka, very, very short interpretation Prabhupada is giving. Evam parampara praptam imam rajrasayo vidu sakale namahata yoga nashta parantapa. So basically, knowledge come in succession, right? And right now also, you can experience how in your own life, right? Every family has their traditions, right? There are certain rules and regulations your family follow. You may have learned from your grandmother-in-law, your mother-in-law learned from their superior, they learned from their superior. But nowadays when people have moved to the city and we don't have connection with our village or our old people, then we feel like we lost some of those information which was there, which is still there. People who live there, they are following it. But since we moved away, or if you met someone who gave you some different ways of doing the same thing, right? Then you learn something new. And then if we learn something, we will lose something, because it's not that. Basically, it's something like theory of learning where you have to unlearn. So you learn something, you have to first give up that, and then you can learn new. Likewise. So Prabhupada explaining that Krishna detected this problem 5,000 years ago, and therefore he gave it again to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And you see, there are around 600 editions of Bhagavad Gita right now. 600 type of interpretation of Bhagavad Gita in the world. And why is like that? You can think, Sanskrit slokas are same. Sanskrit sloka you can't change it. That's the original words of Krishna. But then people give their own interpretation. Like when Krishna says Aham, then they say it's not Krishna himself. It's a Krishna spirit. It's not a person. It's a consciousness. They say so much confusion of. Well, suppose if I say my or me, and after 100 years when I'm gone, somebody comes and say Purushottama said his spirit, not his body. Oh, what the hell? I'm telling you me, my, aham, and then why you are interpreting like no, that's not him, that's not he, that he. When he says, Krishna says, I am Bhoktaram Yagyatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is saying that I am Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and then people say, no, he is saying he is the Maheshwar of his body. Sarvalok means his body. Where Sarvaloka means the whole cosmic manifestation. But people give such, wrong interpretation. Why? Because if they accept the God, then they have to fear the God. Then they have to stop all the nonsense. They cannot do all the nonsense because there is God, there is controller, there is someone who is kind of controlling it. And therefore, people give a wrong interpretation, and then people who read, they get cheated. And that's what Prabhupada explaining here. Prabhupada explaining that these people are demonic. They want to enjoy the knowledge given by Krishna, but they don't want to give credit to Krishna. So that is demonic nature. That demonic nature, people will take everything from you, but will never give you credit. Why? Because the moment they give you credit, their position is lost. You'll meet such people in your life. You may have met in your office, in your workplace or home, even in relationship, family relation. You do something very nice, they will take it, and then they will present in different way, and they will never say, oh, this person started or this person originally did it, and they will also interpret differently because that's their not original thing. They are cheating or stealing from someone's knowledge or information and presenting it, so they will misinterpret because that's not their original creation or interpretation. And that's the demo. That's how you find who is demonic. So if you see someone is taking others' credit and not giving acknowledgement to the person who did it, then that's demonic. That's not good. So then you should know why this is happening, because this person is demonic nature, and therefore you move on. You don't want to. You present as it is what you know, rather than trying to fight with that person unnecessarily, because they would never agree, right? So that's our learning. And second thing, the knowledge has to come in succession. It has to come via parampara. Parampara means disciplic succession, one after another, like Vivashwan, Manu, Ichwaku, like that. And right now, Krishna, Arjuna, and then disciplic succession is coming up for us, right? Okay, text number 3, sloka number 3, who wants to read? Anyone, any volunteer for reading? I can help you, like I helped the Hetal Mataji. If you want to read, I will help you. I'll read first, you can repeat just. Okay? Alka Mataji? Okay, ma. So, yes, let's read. Sa evayamaya tedya yoga prokta puratana भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं हेतु उत्तम उत्तम उत्तम. Yes, you can read if you want next. All yes. Thank you, Mantaji. Hare Krishna. So, it's very nice here. Krishna is saying that there are two words here, bhaktosi me sakha yeti, and then rahasyam hetu uttama, hetu uttama, uttamam. So, like in our life, all of us, first of all, let's understand why it is mysterious or confidential, right? Krishna is saying it is confidential knowledge, right? So here you see rahasyam, bhaktya puratana, very old, prokta, and Prabhupada explaining rahasyam hi etad uttamam. Why it's rahasyam? Because it is very valuable. Anything, like suppose if you have a lot of money or you gold or anything, you keep it confidential. You don't put on your door, like hang your gold jewelry on the door, right? Like you don't want to show everyone because it's valuable. This knowledge is very valuable for humans, not for dogs and cats because they can't understand that. But for humans, this is very valuable, and therefore it is guna. It's rahasyam. Why it's rahasyam? Why something is called mysterious? Like even people say science is a mystery, right? Hey, science is a mystery. Science is a magic. People say like that. You will hear in outside in your life. Why they say that? For a scientist, science is not a mystery because the scientist knows how the science works, right? So for a kid, it may be mysterious. Like say, like blowing a balloon by air, the kid may feel, oh, this is increasing because the air is going in. The kid doesn't know the air is going in. If you feel, you remember when we were child and those hydrogen gas balloons, when you leave it, it would fly high in the sky without anything. You just leave it. And we were like, oh, why this is going high? The other balloon is not going. The person who knows the science behind it knows, oh, it's because hydrogen gas in the balloon, it's going high. The hydrogen gas is lighter and it flies upside. So the person who knows the knowledge, has the knowledge, is not bewildered. Like, oh, why the balloon is flying in the sky? Why not other things fly? But the kid may feel like, oh, this is magical, mysterious, something in there, right? Now, if the kid asks someone, suppose if a right knowledge person, suppose he's a knowledgeable person, he asks, why the balloon is going high? Then the right person, the person who is knowledge of the balloon and the gas and the science of behind it will explain, my dear kid, because there is a hydrogen gas, this is going high. This is nothing. Don't become mystical. Don't feel like this is something like very great. This is simple. But if the same kid goes to a uneducated or without knowledge person, he doesn't know about the balloon, doesn't know about gas and all that, goes and asks that person, my dear sir, why this balloon is flying high? And then that person will say, there is a higher power who is pulling that up and it is going high. I know that this is like misleading that person. That kid is getting misled by this person because this person doesn't know anything and then giving an interpretation on that. Okay, you don't know, fine, you can say I don't know, मुझे नहीं आता, पता नहीं क्यों जा रही है. But if you are giving an interpretation without knowing anything, that's you're misleading the kid. You're misleading the kid, right? That's the definition of DOT and demon. The DOTs knows the science of Bhagavad Gita. They will explain as it, but the demon will say, no, this is like that, this is like this is like that. They will interpret their own way. At some point, they will say, you come to me, I'll explain you very nicely. So those things going on here. Now, if you have something confidence here in your life, whom you will disclose? All of us, right? The most best friend, like that person whom you know will never cheat you, never misuse your information, never going to do wrong with you. That is the definition of best friend. I mean, nowadays it doesn't exist much. Every friend who we had a best friend in our young age, and now they are gone. They are no longer best friend. They changed because their requirement changed. We don't have that relationship. Nobody is eternal best friend. Only person you can find most of time in your life is either your parents. If you have sometimes even parents go crazy or the kids go crazy. That relationship also not best friend one. They don't want to share, or the parents wants to misuse the kids, of their own use. They want money, they want everything, but they don't want to give love or care. Then second level is your spouse, your husband or your wife is your closest person who will never cheat you to some extent. But nowadays that also getting crazy. People are cheating, in relationship. And that is why the best friend is very important in life. We should have at least one person whom you can trust, and that's what Krishna is saying, Bhaktosi. And the Sakha Cheti is the best friend. Bhaktosi. Now, suppose if you have a best friend, but he is not devoted to you or she is not devoted. What is devotion? Complete surrender or complete interdependence is a Bhaktosi. Like, what is the best friend? If you within the best friend, if you categorize, there will be some friend will believe you when you give a proof. There will be some friend who believe you blindly. You said it, I take it. They would never doubt your understanding or anything. So they are like bhaktosi, bhakti, like complete surrender and devotion. Prabhupada explaining Bhaktoshi is a devotee. And therefore Arjuna was both. He was friend of Krishna. Krishna has many friends, right? Krishna has, Balaram, Sudama, so many friends, like Subala, so many friends. So they were his friends, but they were not his disciple or devotee. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you are both. You are my best friend, and you are also my devotee. You are my disciple. So two qualities needed. You know, you need to have a best friend to disclose your confidential knowledge. Same time, you should look for who is more devoted. You may have multiple best friends. Then who is the best person? And then therefore Bhagavad Gita can be understood by only people who are not enemy of Krishna. First and second, they are devotee of Krishna. Because there will be some people maybe not enemy of Krishna, they are neutral. They're neither friend nor enemy, but then they don't believe in words of Krishna. They will never understand it. Because there will be a lot of people you see read about Bhagavad Gita, teach Bhagavad Gita, but they never worship Krishna, they never believe in Krishna. They won't say Krishna is a consciousness, Krishna is a spirit, he is a great person, he is not God. They will never accept him as a God. But they will teach Bhagavad Gita as all that. So therefore, you should look for, if somebody is teaching Bhagavad Gita, first, friend, how do you know somebody? Suppose if I am telling you this Bhagavad Gita right now, and you are listening it, how do you know that I am your friend? Right? Because so far we have never communicated anything confidential. We don't know anything about each other too much. But the one thing is clear, that I'm not teaching Bhagavad Gita to take something from you. Like I am not teaching or talking this to get money, to get your help, to get your position, I'm trying to get some kind of benefit. No. So that is a neutral. You can say, I'm not your maybe best friend, but I'm not your enemy too. I'm not here for your inimical relation, right? Second, definitely I am trying to practice Bhagavad Gita while taking shelter of my Gurudev, Guru Maharaj. And so I believe in Krishna, practice in Krishna consciousness, and therefore I can present it. If I try to misinterpret it, whatever is given by Srila Prabhupada in the book, if I try to misinterpret it, if I say, no, what Prabhupada is saying is something different, then you should become doubtful. Oh, this person is trying to create some story, and then Purushottam will create his own line of thought, which would be crazy. It is going to spoil your life, and you will never understand Bhagavad Gita, because I am trying to give my interpretation, right? And so therefore you should be very careful in reading Bhagavad Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita, from whom you are reading. It has to be a person who is neutral to you, and second person is a devotee of Krishna. Like Arjuna is learning, Arjuna is getting the knowledge. Krishna will only give this knowledge. Why? Because Arjuna is the friend of Krishna and the devotee of Krishna, a disciple of Krishna in his case, right? So, and then Krishna said previously that I give this knowledge in disciplic succession. And before that sloka, he explained what was disciplic succession. Vivashwan, Manu, Ichhaku, likewise. And now he is saying, this was last, therefore I am giving you again, because you are my friend, I am the devotee. Bhakto sime sakha cheti, rahasyam hetu uttama. So I think we are over almost time. And if there is any questions, comments, we can take. Otherwise, we'll end here. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody has any questions, comments, please do share.